Prosperous Divas, Living Wealthy, the Basics, Money, and Freedom. This is session number 5. And if you haven't been at our previous sessions, don't worry, you will get value from today. Tonight, we're looking at superstitions, the devil in the details, that little devil details, conversations for wealth, the conviction and the lie. And of course, our prosperity blaster. But tonight we have a special spoken word from Shani, the original Sunshine Princess of Poetry. We want you to listen carefully because we're going to reference it later on in the webinar. So put on your little ears and really listen to this, and we will references. It will make it's going to make a big difference. Okay, one, two, three. Let's just hear Shani the poet, the original Sunshine Princess of Poetry.
The breakup. Too many wasted years, no more wasted tears. Standing here on my own too. They say I gave up. Nah, I gave you love that you didn't appreciate. You took it for granted like my love was a waste, sealing your fate because I no longer walk down lonely street. Hell, it took a while, but truth, you was never truly for me. Finally seeing clearly as your well runs dry. Walking away with no tears in sight, gained insight. I still pray for you at night. You lost your hold. I've moved on, learning again how to live life, love right. Breaking up is hard to do, but I got it. Retaining knowledge of how to do it right, leaving it all behind. I'm in recovery. Our history soon to be a distant memory, a shattered piece of my past, one not meant to last. It's sad. You'll feel the repercussions like an aftershock. Nope. It wasn't my fault, but I'll take the blame. Just to refrain from doing this again, I refuse to be bitter in the end. I am amazing, and you didn't get to damage me. You were lucky to have me, but no more. You feeling dehydrated, and I'm feeling liberated, giving you up even the score. My heart don't hurt anymore. It's no longer sore. The breakup, tough love, like lost and found, like rain coming down to cleanse and restore. You wish I was standing at the door, but you don't get to hear my footsteps in the dark anymore. No more dreaming of you. Yeah, the truth that I've been through because of you, and now I'm through because of you. You don't get to keep me down, and you don't get to keep me around. You missed it. My worth. I still see how you failed to recognize that I am a warrior among these thieves, and I felt you trying to bleed me weak. But you don't understand that I am destined to do great things. I happily stepped on your throne. I used it as a stepping stone, refusing to look back. This part of my past, I happily placed in this big black trash bag, ready for pickup. I'm chunking you deuces because this is the breakup.
Snap, snap, toe tap. That was Shani the poet, the breakup. Let me turn this session over to someone I'm not breaking up with, Diva Robin. Over to you.
Woo! So glad you're not. I wouldn't know what to do if you were to break up with me, Ronnie B.
Oh.
Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight for session number 5 of Living Wealthy, the Basics, Money, and Freedom. I am Diva Robin. Our course leaders, including myself, are the Divas, Nakia Franklin, the Princess of Faith, Nikki Taplin, Jacqueline Brown, and our guest leader, Janice Hollis. The intention of this course is for people to create breakthroughs in their ability to create breakthroughs for living wealthy. I love that so much. I am going to say it again. The intention of this course is for people to create breakthroughs in their ability to create breakthroughs for living wealthy. Tonight, we invite you to listen powerfully for a conversation that will have you causing breakthroughs in manifesting money and freedom while creating breakthroughs in your ability to create breakthroughs for living wealthy. Can you get with that? We invite you to listen powerfully so that you will be causing breakthroughs in manifesting money and freedom while creating breakthroughs in your ability to create breakthroughs for living wealthy. And to everyone, thank you for the tremendous amount of feedback and sharing. I want to share with you some of the shorter ones and comment once I've read them all. And just the feedback has been huge and amazing. Starting with Kenneth Turner, Oakland, California. I got it when it comes to money. I say I'm willing to do the work. Then I take a few actions and quit with, quote, good reasons, unquote. People have been telling me this for years, and I wouldn't listen. I would just complain and say they didn't understand me. Thanks, Divas. I see they understood me all along. I didn't understand me. I do now. Whoa. Amazing. Francine Jurdo of Toronto. As soon as I start hearing myself say, I know all this stuff, I can see those yellow sunglasses Diva Jackie talked about. This is amazing stuff. I love it. See, Francine, that's very cool. Dolores Wilkins, Rockford, Illinois. Diva Robin, my head exploded hearing I'm winning the game I'm playing. So what game is it? I am a Christian, so I place Christ before me always. What I realized was I'm winning the game of hiding behind Jesus as an excuse for my lack of action. Honestly, my lack of courage. I am doing some serious soul searching. So this will be a lesson as I walk my path that has me own my divinity and responsibility. Bless you, Diva Robin. That's so huge. Samantha Gomez, Okinawa, Japan. Thank God for the internet and a big old salute to Diva Nikki for her willingness to be open and share herself. Amen to that, Samantha. I go stateside in a few weeks and will be leaving the military. Much of what Diva Nikki has taught me has opened my eyes to ways I can use my service that didn't occur to me as real opportunities. Thank you. Whew. Wow. Sneha, I hope I'm saying this right. Sneha Kaur of Mumbai, India. I was talking to my husband about our finances. As he was speaking, I would interrupt him and tell him how he had on yellow sunglasses so he could not see my point. I was surprised when he got angry and left the room. Then it hit me between the eyes. I am the one in the course. It is about my filters, my yellow sunglasses. I apologized to my husband. Now I can listen to him without those sunglasses. It has been wonderful. We smile and laugh like kids. Whew. Thank all of you. This is me speaking. Thank all of you for sending us your feedback. It is appreciated. What I see for myself and the prosperous Divas community from what you have all shared is I see how beautiful it is to let go of a position that we fool ourselves into thinking is useful or that we are using to protect ourselves, but it's really putting a wall between ourselves and those we love. So I want to thank all of you for authentically doing the work of this course. And I want to underline what Sneha mentioned, which is similar to something that I tend to do to my husband, which is to think that I'm the one who's not got any sunglasses on. After all, I'm this is terrible. I'm the trained one. I'm the one who does the life coaching. And sometimes what happens is that I act more like I'm leading a course than being a wife with him. And I know that you don't have to be a coach to take on that role with someone you love. And I definitely want to have everybody think of Sneha if you start to do that. so I have often heard it said, and I'm reminded of this saying, in their world, our answers are noise. I'm going to say that again. In their
Wow.
world, our answers just show up as noise.
Wow.
Is right, Ronnie B. It is best to use the information we get here to sort ourselves out, not to use it to correct or train or supposedly help, meaning unasked for help. Not
right?
To use it to do that. Not to do it for others. It's not for others. It's to others. So, the last thing I want to say about that, since that's what I chose to put the spotlight on, is, did you know that giving unasked for advice causes a sense of pleasure to the one who's giving the advice and pain to the one who is receiving it? Yeah, man. I know. That's like you look back at your life and you go, oh my gosh, yeah, I see that now. So on that note, over to Diva Nikki. Diva Nikki, over to you, dear heart.
Yes, and before I get into this, I want to piggyback on what you just said. First of all, those were all some great shares, but what you said about how it pains the person getting the unsolicited advice and it pleases the person giving it, well, I would like to add that it also pains the person giving it when they see the person they gave it to did not follow.
Yep. Great point.
Okay.
They call
Anyway,
that I had to add this in. They call that a perpetration.
They call it a perfect storm.
They call it a perpetration.
Oh, a perpetration, right.
Yeah, let me set you up so that you hurt my feelings.
Right.
You're bad.
Wow. Okay. So we have Bethany Glenn from Phoenix, Arizona. Hey, my second home. Diva Nikki and Diva Janice have been a godsend. Oh, and I mean that in the most serious way possible. My current world had my life on the line. I knew I was heading toward taking my life, but I kept denying it to myself. Yet it was honestly my current world. I am a successful woman at a place where it occurred in my world. I didn't need a man, family, or any specific set of friends. I stayed prayed up, quote unquote, and my business is booming. I contribute to all sorts of organizations with my time and money. Whenever my family needs me, I'm there for them. It occurred to me I should be happy. And since I wasn't, why bother? If God wanted me to be happy, I would be, right? Some people aren't meant to be happy. Each week, I listen to you ladies, and each week, something about my current world kept showing up as a conversation I was having with myself, not the truth or the voice of God. When I listen to Diva Nikki and Janice, I feel loved, like you are speaking directly to me. You make me want to live. Wow. Diva Janice is smart and successful in many ways. She reminds me of myself. She has a way of loving you to your senses, not preaching down to you or beating you over the head with her intellect. You can tell she has a real heart. She has been there and struggled to get to the other side. I can't say enough about Diva Nikki. She is courageous, caring, and committed. Something that occurred to me I used to be. Each week, she shows me a way to look at myself through the lens of my current world, and I get a little stronger. I want to live a little bit more. Thank you, Diva Nikki and Diva Janice, for being there for me. I made that call to the suicide center so I could get the help I need. I was terrified, but for some reason, as the phone was ringing, I started hearing your words, and it was like God sent his two mighty angels to deliver me safely and wrapped in love. Ladies, you bless more people than you can imagine. Believe me. Thank you, Bethany.
Wow.
Thank you. I'm going to
Wow.
let Diva Janice share first, and then I'll come back.
Wow. Thank you. Just listening to this being read is just it's so surreal, and it speaks volume when we just show up and be ourselves, because we are the mirror to somebody else's soul. They get to see themselves, and it's humbling. It's very, very humbling. What I take away from this is, in addition to that, is just nice to be nice. It's nice to be in a position where you are courageous enough to share what you're going through, because you are the answers to somebody else's dilemma. And lastly, the mistakes we make in life, they're just tools for us to get better at living. And when we don't find light in the darkness that we're experiencing, that's when we're most in trouble, because that's when hopelessness and helplessness begin to take precedence. But it's just so wonderful that she found something in what this particular program is providing to give her strength to move forward. I just think it's remarkable, absolutely remarkable.
I agree.
I'm going to turn
Thank
back to you. It is. It's so enriching, and some things just leave you speechless. This one leaves me a little speechless. Just really speechless.
Thank you, Janice. Let me say that when I first read this, Bethany, I was really brought to tears from your share, because it was so bearing and it was so relieving at the same time. And I felt relieved for both you and myself and for others. And I felt grateful also, because to be that transparent in a time and in a world where people are used to these freaking masquerades and these facades, and everybody wants you to say you're okay, because they don't know how to deal with you not being okay. They don't know how to deal with them not being okay. To be the opposite of happy and elated and on top of the world is to be considered negative. And so I'm grateful to the Most High to be humble, to be transparent. And I'm grateful for the Most High for you to share that same humility and to make that phone call. And thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And for all others that are participating in the webinar, it is okay. Success and status does not equate to joy and happiness. It is not the end all be all to your world having being bright and full of sunshine. If that was so, we wouldn't have, we just got the news, I think it was last week, of two famous people, of many, who have committed suicide. So that's evidence that success and status and money, and that's not the end all be all to happiness. So we should be sensitive to, as much as possible, open to the person that you're asking how they're doing really just might not be okay. And to look beyond the surface of the smile and be able to see a person for who and where they really might be and are. So thank you. The Divas and I are disturbed and often heartbroken as we become present to the epidemic of suicide. If you need help or feel someone may need support, please, please, please call 1-800-273-8255. Again, that's 1-800-273-8255. It is the National Suicide Prevention Hotline, and it is available 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. They do not shut down. Diva Jackie, over to you.
Thank you. Wow. That was a lot, but I'm just so grateful for this connection that we share here, and that she was able to connect with us and have this experience, and that we were able to turn some of her thoughts around, made her willing to go get that help. So, wow. I know what that's like. So, okay. And if anyone else is feeling that way, please. You can't win the game if you give up like that. There's no way to even be involved in the game. There is a way to stop your negative thoughts. Okay, so I'm going to go on. I do have a letter today from Terry Etheridge, Boston, Massachusetts. I hope I said that right. I love the webinar. And like the lady whose email you read last week, I am stuck and I can't get my head around my family and money. A few years ago, I opened a deli with a couple of family members, my fiance at the time and my son. My goal was we would have a family business where they would be able to be employed and we would make a nice income. I felt once we got the deli rolling, I could return to working a corporate job while they ran the deli, and I could explore other business opportunities. Less than a year later, my son attacked me at the deli, which caused the police to be involved in the building I was renting the space from to restrict me from opening for 2 weeks. Things proceeded to get worse. Equipment broke down that I thought would last much longer based on what the original owners had told me. So I was spending money left and right. By the way, the steady income the previous owners told me about did not materialize. To top everything off, I catch my fiance stealing money out of the cash register. Yeah, this was a woman plus daughter I was living with and paying her salary and all the living expenses. I was able to sell the place and basically break even, but my credit was ruined. My son ended up serving 1 year in jail because of the matter. Of course, I don't have a fiance anymore. The only thing I see in my occurring world is how I tried to help my son have a job after him getting in and out of jail and living on the streets, trying to help my fiance get her act together because she hadn't been able to keep a steady job. Basically, my losing out when I should have went at it alone. A dear friend told me I needed to look at how I was having this occur. I don't get it. I'm the one who was wrong, yet there's something wrong with me or how it occurs to me. I like what you ladies are doing, but I'm stuck. I don't get it. Thank you. Terry, we're going to honor your request for coaching. Actually, I'm going to start with Diva Robin as I get my thoughts together on this.
All right, great. Woo! This is what a fine kettle of fish,
yeah.
right? Well, so thank you. And Terry, first of all, my heart goes out to you for all that you've been through. And I must say that it's hard to coach you without knowing all of the specifics, like what precipitated your son's violence in this particular instance. However, I can hear a couple of things that I would like to address. The first is, as we talked about last session, imagine that you have actually won the game you're playing so fully by what happened that you could have achieved a gold medal for it. So let's say here you are in these circumstances, work backwards in your thinking and look at what game you were playing that you actually won. Because it's always true, even no matter how much to you it doesn't look like it, it's always the case that we have won the game we're playing. Then it would be really useful to know how on board the others all were for this venture. What red flags did you see and ignore about how much they were really invested in this venture?
Mm-hmm.
Along the lines of the red flags, where do you see that you were lying to yourself? Where were you not telling the truth about your own true motivations here? Were you trying to be the hero? Were you trusting other people to do or be ways that they had demonstrated that they were not able to or not willing to? All right, Ronnie B. Pretty obvious there to those of us on the outside of it, right?
I'm not interrupting your flow. I feel for you, Terry. I really do.
Oh, yeah. So,
Get him,
Terry,
get him.
Terry, reading what you wrote, I'm reminded also about how I've often done things where there was something I wanted so much that I have literally skipped over really doing the research or even avoided finding out things or even didn't listen to what other people were saying that might have stopped me from moving forward. So I hate to say this to you, but I would bet my car that if you talked to your friends about this before you actually did it, there were people who were saying, whoa, are you sure about this? Given your son's history, is this a good idea? Given your fiance's history, do you really think this is going to turn out? So I'm guessing there were some things that you ignored, if not outright discarded along the way. So So, but here you are, right? I mean, that's all in the past. It's useful to sort that out so you can see where your responsibility in the matter lies and see what game you actually won in all of this. And where were you being right? Where were you making other people wrong? You want to look at all the good, the bad, and the ugly here. And then lastly, starting from where you are, given that you want to move forward, it looks to me like there's some forgiving to do, starting with forgiving yourself. So if you haven't already done so, I highly recommend that you forgive yourself. Then forgive each of the other people involved. If forgiving people, first of all, forgiving other people is mostly for ourselves when we're doing the forgiving. And forgiving someone does not mean that you would want to do the same thing with them again. People sometimes, I think people are afraid to forgive for a number of reasons, one of which is, if I forgive them, then they can do that to me again. Well, that is not the case. Forgiving them frees you and them for whatever is appropriate going forward. So anyway, that's what I have, and I really could go on, but I want to give other people a chance. And the last thing I want to say is, when you've done all that, create a new game.
Mhm.
All right. Well then, thank you, Diva Robin and Diva Janice.
Yes, thank you. Wow, this is so heartbreaking. And as I was listening to Diva Robin, so many things occurred to me that Terry, unfortunately, just overlooked, possibly because he was so excited to be at the table that he forgot to bring his value with him, being at the table and being innovative and creative to put something in place. A couple of things stuck out for me. Number one, a placement issue. And what I mean by that is, when we don't evaluate the strength of people, we often overcommit to them things they're not ready for. And most people are not conscious of or not honest about what they're capable of doing. Because as some people use this analogy, they are sitting at the table, which means a lot of things can go gravely wrong when you're just sitting at the table having fun because you're caught up in the hype without anyone doing a real assessment on talent, previous experience, as well as success. And it happens to the most of us. Terry, one other thing that was really prevalent is when it comes to us working in business with family members or someone we have an emotional attachment to, it's sometimes the most detrimental when parameters are not established, because it can't be based on just the friendship or the good feeling. It has to, especially in business, it has to be based on what can people actually deliver. What are the strengths and weaknesses? Because then that will take care of the placement issue that occurred with this business. You will put your strongest people where they're strongest. And of course, I'm very analytical. I do evaluations consistently, because if I need to move someone, I don't need to get rid of good talent. I just may need to shift their energy because we're different people in different seasons in life. And the other thing is, and it's all positive, Terry. Trust me, it's all positive.
Yes.
It's a lifestyle. It was an event. What occurred here was a lifestyle of people not being ready for certain things. And it happens to the best of us. And if you're not careful, you will overreach when you should be a student. Or if you're a teacher, you're committing things to people who are not ready to receive. And I think somebody talked about giving advice when nobody asked. That is painful. It's like casting your pearls before swine.
Yeah,
So,
trying to keep your pearls, baby.
exactly. There's a price. There's a value. And I want to end it with this, and it goes back to a little bit of what I said earlier. Mistakes are just tools. You've learned some things that can help you start again. You having your credit messed up, there are credit repair services. There are no problems here. There are only solutions from what you've been through. It's just, it takes a shift in your mindset to get to the positive. And you keep beating yourself up. And as Diva Robin said, you just need to forgive yourself and move on. Guess what? It was costly. It's good that was costly because it's like touching the stove. It burnt you. So you'll know that's a parameter where you don't want to function in life. But it's all good. It is all good. And you can start over. And equally as important, you get to decide how you're going to move forward. Nobody does that out of all that you've gone through. And please don't keep singing this song, They Did Me Wrong, because sometimes when difficulty happens, as unfair as it is, it's to teach you, it's to teach me. So we wouldn't learn how to be resilient if someone didn't fail us. So everything has a positive side to it. So if you're feeling stuck, just know they were here to teach you something. I'm done.
Thank you, Diva Janice. That was powerful. I agree. It took a lot of stuff from me. Diva Nikki, let's check in with you.
Yes, I am ready. Terry,
The Divas on
I
fire.
empathize with you, and I sympathize. I do both. I empathize and I sympathize. So this is what I want to do first, Terry. First, I want you to give yourself a hug, because you need a hug and you need some love. So I'm sending you a hug. The second thing I want you to do is take everything that Diva Robin and Diva Janice just said, because that's all going to fall into play to what I'm about to say. I'm just going to add on to it, piggyback. Forgive yourself, forgive the situation, and be ready to create a whole new scenario, because that is the past. That is beyond yesterday, and we can't do anything about yesterday. However, you've got to get the lesson, which is why it's important for you to do what Diva Robin said and Diva Janice said, because if you don't take that introspective look and get the lesson, you are destined to repeat it again. So, I have this suspicion, I could be wrong, that there was an end result from you starting the deli that you didn't get, right? And because you didn't get it, because of all these things that happened that intervened, that end result is still lingering. I want you to know that it is still possible. But you have to be very clear for yourself, because it seems to me that you were the visionary. And as visionaries, sometimes, like Diva Janice said, we, entrepreneurs, we get excited about what we're doing, and then we employ other people into our dream and our vision, that something that they didn't have, right? So go back and regather what that end result for you was. I read in there and I heard that there was something about being open to other opportunities. So this was supposed to be something that you all could build on, and you could use this to go forth into something else, right? Don't let go of that. But you cannot begin to venture on to anything else if you don't get the lesson, get ready to move forward, and let go of the past. And I wish you the best in all of that. Your breakthrough is right here for you. That is all.
Thank you, Diva Nikki. Ooh, this was a good one. Diva Nakia, let's check in with you. Do I have Diva Nakia?
She in stealth mode.
Okay, doesn't look like we have been stealth yet, or mute. But what I'm present to is, this is really great. I love everything that everyone said. It's just been so on point. And God, if you could afford, anyone could afford to have this team of divas like with you 24/7. Oh God, it'd be a beautiful thing to keep on straight. And Terry. Here's the deal, Terry. Uh, you have no integrity. You have no integrity.
Uh-oh. Da,
None.
da, da, da.
Well,
Nada.
you
And that
might
doesn't mean that you're not a good person, because I'm not talking about moral integrity. Morally, that you have to talk to people who deal with that. Integrity, as far as the power of your word and getting things done, you have no integrity. Because the first lie was why you had them working for you in the first place. Because you actually told the truth to fix them. So they weren't working there so that you could have this business and y'all would grow and do that. They were working there so that you could fix them. And if you trying to fix them, that means you the boss. So you got hit by the boss syndrome. I can be the boss and run my fiance and run my son. I had this business that fixes them, and then I'll be able to go away and do this because see, my business will be fixing them, as opposed to looking at it as wait just a minute, because you said that you bought the business from a previous owner. I got that the previous owner said we had this kind of income. Well, you didn't look at how they ran that business. Did they have their the fiance who hadn't been able to keep a job and the son who was living on the streets as their employees? Or did they hire some folks who like worked in delis? So as Janice said, you got to have the right people for the right for what you're doing. It just doesn't make sense. And when things don't make sense, that means you playing a different game, pretending. So you were playing the real game was fixing these folks so they behave the way that I want them to behave, uh, pretending that you're trying to run a business. So that is the now here's the thing. I can be off. I got it. I can be off base. I can be way off base. And if I am, give me a call. Because I guarantee you I'm not that far off base. You ain't, okay, I didn't hit a home run. I'm damn well on the way to third base. I bet you that. I I put Dr. Hollis's golf money on this.
Oh no, I won a lot of money yesterday, Ronnie.
All right, we have Diva Robbins on the line here. Now we've got Diva Janice's golf.
I can smell this one out. Now the great part. Now here's the great part. You should take every bit of coaching that those ladies gave you. Every single bit of it. It was gold. Do not have them. You asked for coaching, so don't waste their coaching. You did ask for it, but own up that there was no integrity and you weren't playing the game that you said that you were playing. Now, here's the beautiful part. Damn, I wasn't playing the game
You
I
told
said
them
I was
the
playing.
answer.
I wasn't playing the game I was supposed to be playing. Then I said, maybe I can try playing that game the next time. Like when I say I'm playing.
Mhm.
Back to you,
Mm-mm.
Diva. Jacqueline.
Thank you. Thank you. Did we get Diva Nikita? Oh, okay. Well, I just want to thank everyone for the feedback. That was amazing. I will just say to you, Terry, um, everyone said a lot of what I was thinking, but that expectations are what we call premeditated disappointments. You know, based on what you said in the letter and how the situation went about, it appears to me that you have a, a save 'em, super save 'em type attitude. And I know because I've been there. You think if you set the table up correctly, that the people are going to show up and know how to eat properly. They should, right? You set the table up in the best way for them to eat properly. But it doesn't work like that. You can't make anyone ready for something that they aren't ready for just because you set it up for them perfectly or set it up and give them the opportunity. So that's kind of all I wanted to add to that one. And I just wanted to, one more thing I did want to add was just not that we should get over what happened. We
No.
should take a look at it so that we can figure out what we did, who we were being. How was I trying to make these people in my life operate a certain way? Why do I think that if I set up the table correctly that people are going to come in and eat and operate a certain way? I would say release control. Release control of anything and anyone except yourself. All right. Thank you, everyone. So I'm going to take it over to Diva Robin for the bold statement.
Oh, thank you so much, Diva Jackie. The bold statement should be pretty obvious to everybody by now, given what we've been talking about in the sharing. And here it is. You are, I swear you are
Very good.
winning. You are winning your game. You are. You're winning your game for having money and freedom. Some of you might be saying, well, if this is what winning my game is for having money and freedom, looks like there's a problem. Well, duh. or if this is or if this is winning, I'd hate to see what losing looks like. Yeah, really. Yes. You truly are winning your game for having money and freedom. And you're either winning it in a way that you like or you're winning it in a way that you think you don't like, but you are winning it. So you want to look at the result that you have produced and from there answer the question, for what game is this winning? Like, if assuming that you're winning, what's the game? Work your way backwards. The question is, are you winning the game you want to play, or do you need to create a new game? That's what I have. So, Diva Jackie, after that blast of bold statement, I'd like to turn it over to you for a review of the Real Money Mind Matrix.
You know this is my favorite. The Real Money Mind Matrix. All right, let's take a look. Our occurring future of money is mainly based in our past. It impacts how we generate money or perceive how we can and should create income for living wealthy. This matrix keeps you boxed into your past experiences for generating money and freedom. The past constrains your ability to create breakthroughs, and it's inauthentic and it erodes integrity. Let me just review each quadrant. The listening for money that's already there. The complaints that persist for having money. The predictable future for having money. The conviction and the lie for having money. The feud factor. Was that new? Fear, uncertainty, doubt. Did you just add the feud? I like that. All right, so these quadrants combine as a matrix to constrain your occurring world for living wealthy into something manageable, devoid of risk and possibility. We are going to take a 6-minute break. When we return, we are going to have an inquiry, the lie and the conviction. The time is now 3:54 Pacific time. That is 5:54 Central time. Please return in 6 minutes. Enjoy your break.
Come on.
Change. Every aspect of my life is aligned with divine order. Unity co-founder Charles Fillmore believed that the spiritual quality of order governs all creation. I can see the organizing principle at work in and throughout all life, including nature. Just as day follows night, my life unfolds in divine order. Even in the midst of change or chaos, I can trust that there is an underlying force for good. Anytime change comes into my life, I pause to remember that divine order underlies everything in the universe. As I relax into this truth, I find peace. With a clear mind and heart, I focus my thoughts upon infinite possibilities, knowing all is in divine order. Any challenges in my life is transformed into an opportunity. I take the next right steps in my life with clarity and ease. Jesus Christ is the same yesterday and today and forever. Hebrews 13:8. Surely be the end for me. Everything gone in my life.
night. A good move and the world stood still. The moment I looked in your eyes. When I'm with you, I'm on top of the world. All the troubles just fade away. With you, I'm in paradise. Everything's going my way. Everything's going my way. Everything's going my way. So if you ever wanna leave me, if you ever wanna say goodbye, it will surely be the end for me. Everything all in my life. When I'm with you, I'm on top of the world, and all my troubles just fade away. I'm in paradise, everything's going my way. Everything's going my way. Everything's going my
All right, we have about 30 seconds before your break ends, and so you can take the time and get a little bit more settled. But what we are looking at is in about 10 seconds. I am Ronnie B, and welcome back from the break. This is the Prosperous Divas, Living Wealthy. I think it's time for some conversations with for wealth with Diva Jackie. Over to you.
I love conversations for wealth. Let's start there. All right. So we are going to start a new inquiry. And inquiries always start with a question. Here is the question. Where do I lie to myself and others when it when it concerns money and freedom? Let me read that again. I'm sorry. The question is, where do I lie to myself and others when it concerns money and freedom? Take some time to really look deeply into the question beyond any automatic responses or automated responses. By the way, for those whose automated response was like, what lie? I don't lie to myself when it concerns money and freedom. Make sure you write that down as a lie. look, hold on, I'm writing.
Okay, I wasn't ready.
All right, I'm going to be quiet for just 1 minute while you are looking at the question for yourself. All right. Now, the first step we are taking in clearing the space for prosperity is to clear the space between our ears. If we listen for the same results, we will get the same results. If we listen for new possibilities and prosperity, new possibilities and prosperity will fall into our laps. We are going to go deeper into the inquiry by doing, guess what? An exercise. Over to Diva Nikki.
Where did you get that voice from? I love it. I love it. I just wasn't ready. Okay, so revealing the lie exercise. Please create the following categories: money, freedom, and Terry, I hope you're listening tonight, especially. Under each category, write 3 complaints and why each a stop or barrier for you in producing results. If there is a person who impacts the complaint, write their name or names. We're going to give you a couple of minutes to work on your list. We're working on our list along with you while we share what we see so far in the exercise. So I will start now. What I see so far in the exercise is I see people getting clarity. All of us getting clarity. Let me correct that. I see us getting clarity on why we blame others for the results we have today. That's one of the things that I see. Diva Janice,
Okay, we're gonna actually, Diva Nikki, we're gonna leave it at that.
Oh, okay. That's fine. Yes. Okay. So next, create 2 columns. One labeled lie, the other labeled the truth. Pick an item from your list and under the column labeled lie, list your complaint, including any people involved. And ask yourself, how long have you allowed this lie to run the show? When did you first start telling the lie? Why did you do it? Who do you share the lie with? Are they empowering or disempowering the lie? Is the lie costing your productivity in this area? And another big question, what are your payoffs for keeping the lie in place? Now, while you're working, I am going to ask the ladies, the divas, to share the experience of working with someone when it's clear the person is lying to themselves, but it's obvious to everyone else. Diva Robin.
I have an example.
Well, do share.
I certainly will. I had a client who frequently complained about having not enough money. And upon my inquiring, she admitted that she told a lot of people that she had not enough money or that she didn't have enough money. By the way, this is a little sidebar here. Not enough money is almost always a lie. For those of you who tell people you don't have enough money, you want to look right away at that. But anyway, with regard to this client, she wanted to have love and trust in her life, yet she would then talk about some luxurious purchase she was making or some exotic travels. And when I would probe into how she could say she didn't have enough money, she would make some comment like, Well, I have to keep some things private. Blew my mind. I've got to tell you, it blew my. I mean, you should. I mean, she. I mean, this woman was really, by most people's standards, quite wealthy. So at first, I thought she was just lying to me and to the people around her about her financial situation. But after a while, it became apparent to me that she believed it. That for somehow, you know how you can have a thought in a moment, like something, absurd, like, oh, I'm going to kill that person. You get mad at them, you go, oh, I'm going to kill that person. And you know you're not going to kill them. But the thought crosses your mind. And then you might have another thought like, so and so is a jerk, and you believe it. Well, I think that what may have happened with her is that she would have these thoughts like, I don't have enough money, and despite the obvious evidence to the contrary, she would believe the thought. She'd go, oh, if I have this thought, I don't have enough money, I must not have enough money. So then she just believed it, and because she had the thought in the moment. So where we looked was, what purpose did it serve for her to lie to herself about money? You know, I thought this was kind of an unusual lie, and she saw that it allowed her to blame others around her and make a victim out of her. Like she could say that she wasn't happy because she didn't have enough money, and that was because of her father, who had actually given her the money in the first place, and her ex-husband, whom she resented, but who had actually also treated her very well financially. But if she were to admit that she was abundant when it came to money, it looked to her like she didn't have anything to blame other people for, and a way to be a victim. And she was getting a lot out of being a victim. I know it seems pretty convoluted, right? I mean, it's not that often. I mean, I've heard people who are wealthy complain they don't have as much as they want, but this woman made a story out of it like she was in trouble, like she wasn't going to be able to pay her mortgage or be able to take care of her son. I know, like truly not enough money to make it, and it was just nonsense. So there are lots of different directions to kind of take this, but one of the things for people to look at as a result of what I just shared is that if the source of your lies to yourself don't seem obvious to you, a good place to start is your relationship with your parents. And that's really what my client saw, that if she acknowledged that she was really doing great, then her father would be off the hook. And she would, mostly her father, her ex-husband, but her ex-husband was like a continuation of what had gone on with her and her father. So that's what I have.
Wow, thank you for sharing. Interesting story. Diva Janet.
Yes, thank you, Diva Nikki. I'm sorry. A couple things just sticks out, and as I was listening to Robin, I was thinking along the same lines. Number one, what speaks the loudest is a deficit, an emotional deficit, where this person, and not only her, but many folks, I have clients who are just starved emotionally for attention. So they create scenarios for you to concentrate your energy on that has nothing to do with what's causing the problem. And many times it's because of, you say, oh my God, listen, some folks they convince themselves that this is the most important thing. And once again, is the analogy of sitting around the table. You keep regurgitating a lie until now that becomes your governing manifesto about everything you do in life. And I most certainly concur with Robin. You can point this back to her relationship with her parents. And many times, especially women,
they experience what is called clinically the father hunger. If you did not have a great relationship with your father, 9 times out of 10, you go the extreme to extrapolate that love, acceptance, and approval from sources that are not necessarily good for you, which means you have to create all these narratives that are just crazy and lead you out into a farce, if you will. The other thing that's imperative to take away from this is, especially if we're on the receiving end to listening, they're also wasting our time. So there has to be a responsibility on our side to cut it off. Listen, I don't have a problem. I have some folks who are political consultants, and some have served at very high levels, and they're no longer there in certain capacities. And I can take the war stories every now and again, but at some point, you have to tell me what you're doing to move forward. Not what I used to do. That's the season of used to. And many people get stuck in the season of used to. And it is a requirement of myself that I don't allow that process to undervalue what I could offer. And it's not that I haven't heard the story, but because I've heard the story, not once, but numerous times, now I have a responsibility not to lie to myself that I am being a good friend, of being a good business partner, to continue to listen to the woes. At some point, we have to be the forceful one, as gently as it should be, to move them forward. Otherwise, you get sucked in and you're stuck, and it just erodes your productivity because they're like leeches. The conversations are like leeches. It drains you of your inspiration and your productivity, and you get nothing done. So for me, I'm learning, as I have learned, and trust me, I'm going for a PhD in this one. I just don't like wasting my time when you can assess where a situation is not going anywhere and people don't want to change, because growth is gradual. Growth is gradual and growth is painful. And when we recognize that people rather wrap themselves in that comfort blanket of woe is me, it's a sign of underdeveloped emotional intelligence, and it goes nowhere, because it's a cycle where you can constantly put the blame on someone else rather than experiencing the brokenness, taking responsibility, being healed, and living productive. That's my takeaway. Diva Nikki, do you mind if I insert one quick thing?
No, go right on ahead.
It's just something, I've talked about what the person that I was coaching was gaining from this deception, this self-deception. But I also just want to mention that it robbed her of enjoying the abundance she did have and being able to share it authentically with others. Plus, it was robbing her of the trust and love that she wanted so desperately.
Wow.
Oh, and Diva Janice, thank you so much for bringing clarity to those points you just made.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it about the part about that it robs you too. It's really, really great.
I co-sign all of that. Yeah, thank you, Diva Janice.
You're welcome.
Diva Jacqueline. Diva Jackie.
Yes, I'm here. So much wonderful knowledge being spread here.
Oh, man.
Yeah. This one is my favorite. Someone who's clearly lying to themselves. It's obvious to everyone else. How do I deal with clients like this? how do I deal with myself when I'm like this? 'Cause I'm always my first client, you know. Sometimes we're not ready because see, if I put it on you, I don't have to do nothing. If it's all you, I don't have to make any changes. I don't have to look at what I've been doing and who I've been being and how that contributes to the consequences that I'm experiencing in my life if I just put it all on you. So, you know, with me, I let them know that I'm just taking the easy way out by blaming it on the other person. It's easy to do that, to blame it on somebody else and not take a look at who we've been being and how we show up in the situation. So when I have clients that are lying to themselves, you know, I believe my coaching is more about being ready. I can't make anybody be ready to see their truth, to look at the truth, to take accountability for who they are and who they have been being. That's the only way to get to the solution. However, I can't make anybody be ready to go on that journey. That is a personal journey that, you know, I believe hopefully everyone gets to the point in their lives where they decide they want to take a look at that. So that is how I personally deal with those kind of people. I don't. I don't try to compare. They can come back to me when they're ready.
Yes.
Diva Jacqueline, one of my favorite coaches. Someone was feeling guilty because they had a client who would not take their coaching. And they were like, wow, this client paid me all this money and they won't take the coaching. And what she said was, don't you get that's the coaching? And they were like, oh, yeah. Because at the
Right.
end of that,
Exactly.
because she was like, do not give the money back. Just provide the coaching that they won't take. Honor your part of the deal. And they were like, wow, that was like a weight off their shoulders. Because it was like, hey, I'm coaching you now. Guess what? This is what the coaching looks like. You not taking my coaching. Now I hope you're getting something out of it. You know, because I surely am charging you. I may be personally a little disappointed that, but hey, you gonna take the coaching whatever way you take it. And what was
Oh,
amazing is
it's
like
going
at the
in.
end, it was amazing when that coach was rated, they were highly rated from the person. I just wanted to share that part.
Wow, that's
Thank you,
interesting.
Ronnie.
Hmm.
Because, you know, sometimes we think they aren't listening or that they're not receiving, but sometimes it's a slow receive. It's there. And sometimes it takes time or it's levels to awareness. It's levels to this awareness. So sometimes it takes time. Thank you, Ronnie, for that.
Do we have Diva Nakia yet in stealth mode or?
Yes, I am here.
There she is.
Yay! We got
There
Diva the
she
Kid. Technology finally worked. Yay! Yay!
is.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Diva Nakia. I am not certain if you know where we are, but we're currently talking about the lie and what we do with clients when we know that they are telling a lie to themselves.
Yeah.
Do you want to comment to that on that?
Absolutely.
Are you ready to comment on that?
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Attentively. So, for myself, when coaching certain clients, my clientele, a lot of them have been ex-offenders or on parole or some level of supervision. So, there's an expectation, unfortunately, at times to expect a lie to come out first because it's a development of trust and a lack thereof. So when you have an obligation to pay your parole fees, restitution, um, create an opportunity for housing or get your Social Security license, driver's license, or whatever, right? Those are your basic needs and necessities that you're required, and everybody in our day-to-day is required to have available or make available for ourselves for survival day-to-day. And I don't have the money for that. So one of the questions would be, well, what did you do with your first $50 when you got released? Well, I had to put that on this, I did that. So one of the things that I've come to understand is the fear of lack. Um, People who promised to be there for them and they trusted so many people in their prior incarceration days that once they got incarcerated, they come to realize that everyone is not their brother, everyone is not their sister, everyone is not their friend, everyone is not family. As society wants you to believe while they're manipulating and going through these behaviors that oftentimes lead you to being incarcerated. Or you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, or you weren't partaking in those activities, but because of association, you were committed. So what I came to understand and what they had to come to understand was in the beginning, the payoff for me was they were constantly being successful. But the payoff for me was coming as a result of me holding their hand, saying, this is the step you take. Come on, here you go, here you go, here you go. Walking through the process with them and not creating independence and self-sufficiency because as a prior corrections officer, we are groomed to control and teach and dictate and determine, right, for what the offender will or will not do. But as a hearing officer, parole officer, and a consultant independently, you're grooming them to become independent, self-sufficient, and productive citizens of society. Well, I would keep my hand on them and cover them and carry them through the process so they were being successful, trusting. But I had to stop and say, you know what, this is your supervision. This is your life. This is what you hired me to be a consultant for you for, or this is why I'm here in a supportive role or here as a mentor or a guide for you, but it's not for me to do it. So once I removed that crutch and I took my hand off of them, the decision was either you do what is necessary in order to be successful as you identify it and define it for yourself, because I can't define it for you. So you have to write out exactly what you see as successful. You have to write out exactly what your appointments are, what your game plan is. You have to create your strategy. And I will sit there with you and we'll reevaluate it every few months, every few weeks, every 6 months, whatever, however long our agreement is. And what I learned to do was become honest and transparent because they had enough people lying to them in the world, including me, because I wasn't being flat and I was continuing on the behavior of carrying them. But once I realized that I too was that crutch, I had to be brutally honest and say, this is what it is. So now anyone who comes to me is straightforward. This is what my expectations are. This is what the contract is. This is what the agreement is. Either you're willing to take it on or you're not. And the first step that what you have to do for me is write out exactly what you define success is for your life. Create a strategy of what you see you want to accomplish in the time frame, and we will reevaluate, we will revisit. And if you cannot follow these initial steps, there's like 10 initial steps that you have to go through. If you cannot comply with those 10 initial steps or even get a portion of them done, then I am not the person for you, because I cannot take on anyone who thinks that I'm going to be utilized as a crutch and I fall back in that space. So I can't create that space for myself. So I can't create that space for you. If you get in trouble, I'm not going to have your back because there's an expectation. So therefore, if for those clients that respond back that do take the steps, we take it and we move forward. And they become successful independently to where my services are no longer needed. Now, we can always consult periodically, but long term, that's not why I'm there. But for those who will not initially begin the process, that is where my no is a no. And I didn't have to say the no. You created the no for me. So you have to now take ownership of your successes or failures. And it's not saying that they won't get to where they're trying to get to. It's just you're not going to do it with me.
There's I love what you just shared, Diva Nakia, and it made me think of something that Diva Janice says, how she sets up her day, and part of that is only what's assigned to her. And you having say, hey, here's my contract, here's my 10 things. If you violate, I'm out the game. Now, you're more generous than me because I'm out the game and I get to keep the money.
Well, I didn't say I had to pay anybody back either, though.
I just wanted to, just checking because I was going to send you to hang out with Diva, Nikki, and Janice for about a week. Because I knew that I knew they'd get that straightened out. But
no, if there's a contract, if there's an agreement, you have to pay me in advance. You're going to have to. If there's a 6-month agreement, this is what your monthly contract is, and you need to pay that at the beginning of the month, just like you pay your rent. We have to have some boundaries. Otherwise, I'll never get paid if I do work first.
Thank you there. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Stephen Akia. Thank you, Divas. So, next, right under the column labeled the truth. Why the issue is a lie. Here's a hint. Avoid responsibility. Who would you need to be, and what would you need to own to empower yourself in dealing with the lie? Do you see where the lie is an integrity issue? You can't be whole and complete with a big gaping hole in your power. Now, can you? Take your time. Would one of the divas like to share what they see from the exercise so far?
Well, I'll dive on in here. I feel the divas pushing here, And one thing out of the exercise is that we will lie to ourselves when our ego gets in the way. And my experience of that was a few years ago. One of my nieces had an idea. She had an idea for an invention, and she wanted to take that invention to market and sell it and make money with it. Okay, got it. Here's your invention. And so she says, Uncle Ronnie, this is what I want to do. And you've been in business, people who've been in business in different areas, whether it's inventions or finance or whatever. And I really want to learn so I can get this thing going. Well, I said, got it. Okay, great. And I said, tell you what, my see your business plan and the marketing plan. 2 weeks later, I talked to my mother, who happens to be her grandmother. Kind of, like that's how it works out. And I'm talking to my mother, and my mother says, "Son, I thought I'd let you know this." And I go, "Okay, well, Mom, what is it that you need to let me know?" Well, your niece says that you talk down to her. And I'm like, huh? I what? I'm like, what here? I go, okay, I know I ain't had my coffee yet. What's the deal here? Said, well, your niece is trying to do this business, and she said when she, talked to you about it, that you treated her like a kid and talked down to her. Now, I put it like this. I don't, my memory, I'm not claiming that I had one of them Donald Trump memories, but I'm pretty good with, I had a conversation about a subject and how I kind of talked in that conversation. I'm pretty good that I can handle that. And I know some of y'all figure that Diva Janice and Nikki, they got me on a real short leash. You're right. But they know I can figure that part out. They know that. And they can count on it. And what I got was that uh, her ego was in the way, because what I was saying was, hey, well, if you're gonna talk to me, then let's see how you're setting this up as a business, because I'm going to ask you business questions. Do you have a
Right.
marketing plan?
Mhm.
How are you going to distribute this? What are you going to do here? And none of that it's first year of college business 101. you know so I'm not talking about something advanced, but I got that rather live with the lie that I am talking down to you than own, you know what? I don't know my butt from a hole in the ground. And I got a good idea. Maybe I need to, if I really want to get this done, maybe I need to listen to people who aren't stroking my ego and tell them everything's going to be all right. So after $25,000 gets spent, and garages full of products that nobody's buying, let me try to do something else. Now you can imagine how that's working out. So that's what I got present to out of the exercise. Back to you, Diva Vicky.
Wow. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else want to share really quick? Go
Yes,
ahead.
real quick. This is Janice. For me, it's just valuing what you do and how you get it done, and most importantly, your time, which is invaluable. And we do a disservice when we don't make people accountable for the time that we are giving to them, because it's all an investment. It seems mechanical when I say that, but this is the reality. We're making investments into worlds. So we're either creating or we're negating from something happening that could just change the course for so many people, or even globally. So for me, my takeaway is value.
Mhm. Definitely. Thank you, Diva Janice, and thank you, Ronnie B. So next, going to ask you to take it. No, now that you have acknowledged the lie and the truth, what will you do and by when? This is a distinction we normally cover in our velocity webinar. So act with velocity. We're going to go deeper into the inquiry by doing, guess what? Opening our inquiry into the conviction. And over to Diva Jackie. Diva Jackie?
Thank you.
Yes.
All right. Perfect. Breaking the chains. Convicted by your own words. Let's review what we have covered so far in the previous sessions. The listening that's already there and the occurring world of barriers. Next, we look at persistent complaints and superstitions that keep us from producing results with felicity. Did I say that right?
Velocity.
Velocity.
I said it wrong. Superstitions that keep us from producing results with velocity. Then we have an inquiry for the lie. When we no longer acknowledge our persistent complaints and superstitions because we are living the results of the lie. Before we can have this conversation, we needed to get you grounded in those distinctions. So strap on your seatbelts. We are blasting off. The breakup. We are going to have an inquiry we call the breakup. Earlier, you heard a little poetry from Shani, the original Sunshine Princess of Poetry. With her awesome performance of the breakup, our inquiry into the breakup is a lot deeper and will take 2 sessions to complete because of its power. From our inquiries into the occurring world, we made this distinction, which is the context or framework for our conversations and training. The occurring world is distinct from the real or physical world. The occurring world is composed of the conversations you have for and about the real world or physical world. The conversations you have for and about the real or physical world shape your experience of life. Your experience of life is your life. Thus, the conversations you have for and about the real or physical world is the fabric of your life. The listening that's already there, persistent complaints, superstitions, and the lie color our conversations for the world in ways that create barriers, cause integrity issues, produce unnecessary struggle and failure. Given we are divine beings with divine powers, why do we have those things more correctly? Why do those things have us? I'm not going to make you think on this one. I want you to try on something. You create them as a fulfillment of the power of your word. And you were not aware you were creating them. As beings, when we were born into the physical or real world, we are whole, complete, and filled with love and joy. In time, these are barriers we create to the experience of being whole, completed, filled with love and joy. Why do we do that? What is immediately present for you hearing that statement? Diva Nikki? Diva Robin?
Can you hear me?
What's present for you guys? Yeah, I can hear you now.
I'm going to let Diva Robin go ahead and get this started. I'm still gathering my thoughts on this. I just want to make sure you can hear me, but I'm still gathering my thoughts on this one.
Well, I
Diva
really don't
Robin?
have. I'm here, and yeah, thanks. Really, I don't have a ton to say about that, except that I really see that it's true. I have had
Agreed.
the personal experience of removing the barriers, and what I'm left with is pure love and pure freedom and joy. So what I find is that forgiveness, communicating, or correcting some misinformation are involved in removing the barriers. So those are kind of hints. But it's kind of a great analogy is being in a relationship with somebody where you get really crosswise. And it could be a friendship or a family member or a love relationship. But when you get really mad at somebody, I think it's real easy it's almost like you can't even remember how much you care about them. And I had this one incident where a girlfriend of mine got really mad
Diva
at me.
Robin, that don't want you to go too far because the question was actually, what is present for you? Just what
Oh,
is
what's
present for
present for me? What is present for me? Okay, so what is present for me is how true it is, and that just that it's been my personal experience. There isn't a whole lot otherwise if I'm just sticking with what's present. And
you?
thanks for putting me back on track.
Yeah, just what's present. Diva Nikki, the question is simply what is present for you? That's all. What is present for you?
Okay, so what is present for me is conditioning.
Hmm.
Our current world coming
I'm glad
from a
you said that.
place of conditioning.
Hmm. So you're present to conditioning and the occurring world is, okay, wow. All right. Back to the person running the segment.
I get to say what I'm present to.
You're running the segment. You're running the segment.
Well, I just want to say that I'm present to, again, how just truthful this is. And I believe that's, why the presence of babies, bring out so much joy in most people, because they still have
Oh.
aura about them. If children under like 4 or 5, they have that freedom where they haven't been labeled. And they don't operate based on those labels, and they're more free with their thoughts. They're free. They're freer than we are as humans, is how I see it. And so that became present to me. I just wanted to add that. All right, I'll move on. Okay. For many, what is present is a variation of something happened. Because of that happening, a barrier was created. Makes sense when we are coming from a physical world. Try this on. There was a time when something happened. It may have been great or something terrible, yet no barrier was created. Regardless of what happened to you, regardless of what happened, you still experience being whole, complete, and filled with love and joy. There was something that happened, and once it happened, forevermore, as a divine being, your experience of life included barriers to the presence of being whole, complete, and filled with love and joy. The Divas distinguish that as the breakup. Before we go deeper into our inquiry of the breakup, I am going to have a little conversation to create the framework. Some would say the divine said, "Let there be light," which was a command to the universe. And the universe reacted, and there was light. Being creations or children of a divine being, we possess the powers bestowed upon divine beings. When we are connected to our divine power and own that power and are responsible for that power, when we say chair, a chair will manifest in the spiritual and physical worlds. When we say mountain, move from here to there, mountains, spiritually, physically, and mentally, move right now. Our casual remarks, good, bad, or indifferent, are filled with divine power. The universe makes no distinction. It always follows our commands. Let me say that again. Our casual remarks, good, bad, or indifferent, are filled with divine power. The universe makes no distinction. It always follows our command. Our experience of life, our power to create and manifest results in the spiritual, physical, mental worlds are ultimately a function of our words. I'm sorry. I got to stop there. In the beginning, there was the word. Our communications. Yeah. Our communications with the universe, ourselves, and others is the delivery mechanism to live and experience lives of love, power, freedom, and full self-expression. The world does not give you who you are being. You create the world you are. I'm sorry. The world does not give you who you are being. You create the world you experience as a manifestation of who you are being and the conversation you create. There is no world out there. There is a physical world. That physical world does not determine your experience or reactions. You are powerful beyond measure. Now that I have given you a little more context, I am turning the rest of the inquiry over to Ronnie B as we distinguish the breakup, which is really good. Ready to break up.
The breakup. Wow. Okay. All right. Even better than Sani's poem. The breakup, the shattering of being. When we were born and as children, we experienced life from the context of being whole, complete, filled with love and joy. There was no separation between us, others, the world. We were truly one with it all. Now, between the ages of 7 and 9, something happened that forever changed that dynamic. As children, we have no clue the powers we possess, and the universe makes no distinction between adult and children. It simply follows our commands.
Mm-hmm.
As adults, we catch ourselves and take commands back before the universe fulfills the command. As children, we are innocent and are totally unaware. We're innocent. We're children. Between the ages of 7 and 9, we had the breakup. When the breakup happened, we were no longer one with others, the world, the universe, and ourselves. We became separated, and our experience was a world out there, and we needed to make it to try to fit back into a world we had broken off from. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty back together again. When that happened, and it may not have been a tragic or even a dramatic or traumatic event, but whatever way it happened, we issued an extremely powerful command to the universe. Remember that universe that makes no distinction, it fulfills our command that has shaped our experience of life. We convicted ourselves by our very own words. It's just like standing, in front of a judge. We convicted ourselves. In a moment, we told the universe who we are. And the universe immediately fulfilled our command. But here's the thing, being children, we said it innocently.
Hmm.
Thus, we did not reverse it before it was fulfilled. We're innocent and we ordered it. So, everyone, take a few minutes while I share what happened and what I convicted or sentenced myself. Look in your life around the time you were 7 or 9 and see if you can see when you had that breakup and became separate. Now, don't worry if you can't find the exact time or exactly what happened. It's really just engage in the inquiry, okay? Just engage. You may not get it exact. It may take some time, but you want to start engaging into it. So, um, I'm from the South, okay? I'm from a small town in Arkansas, and I was raised in Chicago. And uh, part of my time in the South, my mother was a single mother, and she moved to Chicago to find a job, get work, and before she could have me come and live with her, and I stayed with my grandparents, and it was beautiful. I mean, it was beautiful. Uh, we live in the deep woods in the South, and a lot of land, and most of the land is pine trees. And you wake up in the morning and you can just smell the pine, and just the way the sun comes up and the needles. And as a little kid, I just go off into the woods and explore, and it was just like me and the world, and we were always one. Well, fast forward, I moved to Chicago with my mother and and my stepfather. And we're like, happy family. I got uh my baby sister, and I'm pretty much a happy kid. I'm with the people I love, uh and one of the things I truly loved was going to the Y. I love going to the YMCA. It had all the games. They had nice people there, and the instructors. I love going to the Y. And I'm walking to the Y, and I remember that as I'm walking to the Y, there was a bigger, older kid walking past me, and he spit in my mouth. And in that one moment, I said to myself, I must be nothing. I must be nothing. Now as an adult, I can look back and say, well, logically, if somebody, somebody did that, you could see it being made. But really, this was like as a kid. As a kid, I must be nothing.
Mhm.
I must be nothing. Now, so for the first part of the breakup, something happened, and you were the judge and jury, and you convicted yourself. You said something to the effect of, because this is language as children. Do not put your college degree language on a 7-year-old. But,
Mhm.
look at it from you were 7. So you said something to the effect of, I am fill in the blank, or I must be fill in the blank. Now keep inquiring and see if you can determine your conviction. Don't worry. If you can't find it right now, just keep looking for it. Now, it may pop up tomorrow or next session. I've had folks. I'm just gonna tell you that they looked and they thought it was one way, and then something opened up
Mm.
for them, and it bam. You know what? That's it. That's it. Or they tried. Now the thing is, it's sneaky. It's sneaky. And the thing about it is, you are either proving or disproving your conviction. That mechanism is there. If you look in your world of conversations, and for many, your physical structures, remember that young lady, Robin Coach, one of her structures was to appear as though she didn't have the wealth that she had. And she even structured her world like that. You may start to see the manifestation of your conviction or something to disprove your conviction, which in and of itself is a manifestation of your conviction. So, I'm going to say that again. If you look in your world of conversations, and for many, your physical structures, you may start to see the manifestation of your conviction or something to disprove your conviction, which in and of itself is a manifestation of your conviction. Yes, it is vicious and it is cynical. Now, I have a bit of bad news. You said, didn't I give you enough? Here's the bad news: your conviction can never be repealed. There is no parole, there are no pardons, and you did it. Yes, you did. You did it. Now, okay, but I don't want to leave you in dismay. I didn't say leave with dismay, but you just want to get it. It's you, it's part of you. Now, but seeing it, when I shine the light, I can see. There's a second part to the breakup. The second part is the question that will not be answered. At the same time you convicted yourself, you also created a question that will never be answered in your experience. And it has many variations. Now, my conviction is I must be nothing. And I can see how I'm always either ways I try to prove that, disprove that. Oh, I just want to be just like, a regular guy, have a couple of beers with the buds, and we have fun like that. And when I really look at it, it's for about 10 minutes. Then I want to do some other project that's, that's doing something. So, and the question that arose was, what should I do? What should I do? Now, here's a weird thing. Your conviction and the question may not correlate, like a natural correlation, that it may not be that way. It arises but it can be totally not related to, like, you go, well, how is this but that's just what arose. The question will always show up in some form or another repeatedly, and there will never be an absolute answer. It is unanswerable. So for me, what should I do? Well, what should I do now? What should I do later? What if this happens? What should I do? Now, for me, that question goes on over and over again until I catch myself. Then it sneaks right back in with another form. Well, what should I have done? You know? Now I'm going to share the conviction and question that arose from Divas, Nikki, and Nakia, and just ask them to share where they might see it creep into their world. Now, just to be fair, Diva, Nikki, and Nakia have done this work, and they're still looking at it like, okay, let me just make sure. Now, I kind of tell you, evidence kind of
Right?
started more and more like, no, that's this one. Now, Diva Nikki is really good. She's a sweetheart, and she has she has a little cute gap tooth, real cute. Now she's had that all her life, that's what she said. Don't want to get it fixed. She's happy with her looks and all of that. As a kid, one day she overheard some elders speaking with her, speaking about her, and the comment they made was that it was something about folks who had gap teeth. And the way she heard it wasn't a good, like a nice thing, like a compliment. And what she said was, I must be scary. Cause in she from the South too, so we got the hoodoo going. So a black cat cross, and you got gap, and you have a gap tooth. Oh no, there's a problem. So we need to be scared, scared of you. And I don't have a question first, but she had the question that arose, but the scary part. And part of it is it's so evident in her structure. What does she do? She goes and joins the scariest force on the planet. When they roll into town, you don't be, yeah, you be like, yeah. Because you don't want to hear that they come into your town in the near future. Yeah, we're visiting you. No, no, no. Y'all go visit these other guys because y'all bring big guns. So she doing some scary. That's what they. And a lot of people who have that, I'm scary. They become police officers. Okay, so and Diva Nakia, uh, a dear loved one passed away, and no one would tell her. And when they finally did tell her, uh, she hit herself with, "I must not be important." And the question that arose, and you can kind of make it correlated, but it really isn't. Is why me? Not why didn't they tell me? Just why me? So things that happen. Why me?
Mhm.
Well, certainly I'm not important when I'm working all the over hours. I'm taking, I'm the supervisor and I'm doing everybody else's work. Well, who's the important one in? If you the supervisor, but you're doing everybody else's work. So, it kind of, you start seeing how crazy it works. Now, okay, oh, we're running over, so I'm gonna have to. But I would, Diva Nikki or Diva Nakia, would y'all like to share anything from the conviction and question? Okay, I checked in with Diva Nikki and Nakia. They didn't want to share anything on that. But guess what? There is no exercise. Now, do not worry. We do have an assignment. Yippee! For the next week, inquire into your conviction and the question that can never be answered. See if you can find where it impacts your actions. The conviction and question are never going to go away. They are the source of the listening that's already there, persistent complaints, superstitions, and the lie. Don't try to fix your conviction or play mental mind games with yourself. Do not do that. You cannot fool yourself out of who you are. Don't make yourself or your conviction bad or wrong. You know what? I got it. And I'll see it. Sometimes it works for me to be nothing. Sometimes it does. That's when I'm running it and it's not running me. You just want to be present to it, be aware of its insidious role, but you got to let it be. If anyone is feeling like, what is the point of distinguishing your conviction and the question that can never be answered if you can't make it disappear? Guess what? That is your conviction and question working to stay concealed. Now we're going to take a 5 minute break. The time is now 7:08. We are running over, so we're going to make it a short 4 minute break. And on the other side, the Empress of the Empress of Faith with the Prosperity Blaster. Please enjoy your break.
Is available. You don't have to overcome your hesitation, your doubt, your fear. You can still have the hesitation, doubt, and fear and act anyway. You don't have to fight against your reluctance. You can simply accept that reluctance and then do what must be done. You don't have to be inspired to the maximum degree. Just do the job, and the inspiration will take care of itself. Put one foot in front of the other. Make one phone call and then another. A perfect, frictionless pathway is nice, but certainly not necessary. You can work with what you have, with its distractions, frustrations, and other imperfections. The perfect pathway is probably not going to appear, but you can nevertheless get where you wish to go. Keep taking whatever route is available, and you'll get yourself there. When I look at you, I wanna make you fall in love. I wanna take you by the hand. I wanna think about it, baby. When I look at you, I wanna make you disappear. I wanna make you reappear. I wanna make you fall for me. Where do you go? Yeah. Where do you go? Yeah. When I fall in love, I'm gonna look into your eyes. I'm gonna make you feel alive. I'm gonna think about it, baby. When I fall in love, I'm gonna take you by my side. I'm gonna make you realize I'm the one that wants you, baby. Where do you go? Yeah. Where do you go? Yeah. When I'm with you, it's all okay. Yeah. It's all okay. When I'm with you, it's all okay. Yeah. It's all okay. When I'm with you, it's all okay. Yeah. It's all okay. When I'm with you, it's all okay. Yeah. When I look at you, I wanna make you my design. I wanna look into your eyes. I wanna think about it, baby. When I look at you, I wanna make you fall in love. I wanna take you by the hand and make you fall for me. Where do you go? Yeah. Where do you go? Yeah. When I'm with you, it's all okay. Yeah. When I'm with you, it's all okay. Yeah. Okay. When I'm with you, it's all okay. Yeah. Okay. When I'm with you, it's all okay. Yeah.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. I am Ronnie B. You are participating in tonight's webinar, and it is time for, it is time for the Prosperity Blaster with the Empress of Faith herself, Diva Nakia.
Hello, 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 and welcome back. I am Nakia, the Empress of Faith, and I have a great prosperity blaster for you this week. To design or create anything, you must start with a blank canvas or slate. We are going to deepen the blaster from last week because of the power available from doing the work. Power to decide. Now, if you assume you're limited by the conditions of the moment, you most assuredly are. When you feel the situation is holding you back, it's definitely holding you back. Are you so tightly constrained by your obligations that you cannot seem to move? Have the noisy, confusing distractions drowned out your ability to focus? You don't have to abandon those obligations in order to be free of their stifling grip. You can quickly regain focus and intention without running away from the turbulent situation. You always have the power to decide. Everything streaming into your awareness is filtered, amplified, attenuated, and assigned meaning by you. Just like I just did. I can't talk. I assign meaning myself. When you've decided that life is overwhelming and you can't possibly cope, it is, and you can't. When you've decided you can focus and thrive and make great progress no matter what is going on, you will. Will it be bitterness, frustration, and excuses, or richness, fulfillment, and joy? No matter what, no matter when, no matter the time or place or circumstance, you decide. We have a very powerful exercise this week that will blow the lid off of your ability to create breakthroughs in creating breakthroughs for money and freedom. To have this breakthrough, it is not going to cost you any money at all. Here is the assignment for the next 7 days. Request something from someone or an organization that you would really like to have for yourself, regardless of whether you can afford it for yourself or you can do it for yourself. Log the conversation in a daily journal. Now, each day, if you did the assignment, write it down and say what opened up for you. Now, if you did not do the assignment, write that in your journal and what opened up for you in not doing the assignment. You always win the game you are playing. If you play the game full out, you will have a miraculous result. That's called a bold statement of your power. Now, let me see. How many of the divas are going to play the game with us this week? Divas, are you in or are you out?
I am all. This is Robin. I am all in.
All right, all right.
In.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is Janice. Definitely. I'm up for the challenge and I'm looking forward to the transformation.
I'm in. I'm in. Yeah, ladies ain't gonna leave a brother sitting on the side of the curb.
Diva Nikki chiming in, and I am all in.
Hey, one more.
And you know you got me.
I love
Of course.
voice. Absolutely. And of course, Nikia is present and accounted for. So, if you really want to have fun with this assignment, invite others to play with you and share with others what you are getting from the exercise. Keep a daily log or post daily on Facebook any results or insights, and please share with the prosperous divas. So, of course, we have a couple of ways for you to stay in the conversation for living wealthy, the basics, freedom, and money. Let me say that one again. The basics, money, and freedom. Being at our next session, which is Living Wealthy, the Basics, Money, and Freedom, session 6, guess what? That is the finale, and you don't want to miss it. You think you've been getting fed now? Just wait. Sunday, June 24th, grab your friends, your families, your co-workers, whomever you want to get a breakthrough in their lives and see what you've been up to. 5 p.m. sharp to 7 p.m. Not so sharp, but it is Central Time. And, of course, we want you to be present and available from the East Coast to the West Coast, North and South. So, visiting prosperousdivas.com and receiving our free 4-part series, Recognizing Winning Conversations That No Longer Work. Visiting prosperousdivas.com and receiving Diva Inspiration, a weekly newsletter with insights into the world of prosperous thinking from Diva Nikki, Nikia, and Jackie. Visiting us on Facebook and posting at facebook.com/prosperous divas. Diva Jackie, how would you like people to learn more about your activities in Right 365?
Thank you. Well, be sure to visit my website.
You want to give us the website? Hello? Well,
Oh, that might be having a technology issue, but it's Mind Rights, and that's WRITES 365.com. And you can also track down Diva Jackie on social media, Mind Rights 365.
thank you, Ronnie. So, while Diva Jackie comes back to us, and Ronnie's already shared her information, which is always awesome, Diva Janice, what is happening at powerfornow.com and Hollis Media?
Thank you for asking. We have a couple of things going on. Number one, with Hollis Media, we're on our way to Beijing, China in August. And we look forward to connecting authors. If they are looking to expand their brand in international markets, they can reach me at www.hollismedia.net. That's www.hollismedia.net. And also on Power for Now. That's power, the number 4, now.com. We're currently in Uganda. We have some of our representatives on the ground. And yeah, they're doing a fantastic work going village to village, delivering the sanitary napkins to the young girls, as well as the feeding program that's taking place. There's always something to do with this project because of the need. And we look forward to shaping the conversation. So they can reach us there. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing. How awesome.
Wow.
So if you would like to learn more about Diva Nikki's Wealth Building programs, visit prosperousdivas.com future/wealth, or email her at currencytrader@prosperousdivas.com. Diva Robin, a.k.a. Leonardo da Vinci's artist twin, what are you saying?
Well, you can reach me by emailing me at robynartist, ROBYNARTIST, @gmail.com, or you can see my artwork on robynjameson.com. And I welcome all inquiries and all interests.
Coolio, Leonardo da Vinci's twin. Visit me.
It'll be Leonardette.
I like that.
I love it. So you can visit me at appointedtimeforyou.com. And for more information about workshops and seminars, visit us at prosperousdivas.com. Tonight's Prosperous Divas are Jacqueline Brown, Janice Hollis, Robyn Jameson, Nikki Taplin, myself, Nakia Franklin. Please enjoy the performance at the end of the seminars tonight. And always remember, Prosperous Divas. Prosperity is a mindset that can be created by anyone. Peace, love, and blessings. Until next time, we're out.